Hi, I'm certified life coach Dewan J of the High Vibrations Only platform. What you're about to watch is an open coaching session that was actually filmed on TikTok. I pray that the information in the video that you're about to watch will inform, inspire, and ignite you to become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so that you're abreast of all future content coming from me. I'll see you in there. Let's go. I I am so amped today. I am so excited today because we have reached the main event. I am so excited that I put the wrong slide down here on the bottom, but we're going to fix it once it goes to the tube, okay? I am excited because we have gradually walked through the process to becoming a fighter. We have gradually walked through the process of turning you into somebody that's not only able, but somebody that's willing to actively look at the confrontation areas in your life, in the conflict areas of your life. And here we are at the main event. And today's conversation is going to go a little different. Okay. Today's conversation is we're going to embrace some things, but today is more so to remind you of why you are a main eventer. Today's conversation is to remind you of exactly who you are. Today's conversation is for you to take an introspective look at self and to look at the problems and the situations that have been in your life and realize that you have overcome them. Losers don't make it to the main event. Let's go. Let's go. Losers don't make it to the main event. Losers don't want to fight to the point that they make it to the main event. And today's conversation, we're going to outline what it took for you to get here. We're going to outline what it takes for you to sustain main event level. We're going to talk about clout a little bit. We're going to talk about your discipline. We're going to talk about the lessons that we've learned in life and how those things are a benefit to us. We're going to turn you up today. We're going to turn you up, and it's necessary. It's necessary because, as we've outlined throughout this series, it's not the main event fight that have led us to here. It's not about being in the main event that has led us to here. It's about the small wins that led us up to here. It's about filling out the application. It's about training. It's about looking at the prelims and setting the atmosphere around you to put you in the best headspace to fight here. Listen, okay, let's just get into it. Let me introduce you to an MMA fighter named Rutson Calico King. Rutson Calico King, Calico King. And he was a Brazilian mixed martial artist who made it all the way to here. He made it all the way to the main event level. He took the bantamweight title, and he had a great sustained run throughout the course of his career. And it was one fight that he went and he took his celebration a little too far. He partied a little too much and didn't start his camp on time. As a result, when it came down to him having to cut weight, he cut weight unhealthily. Okay, and as a result of that, when he stepped inside of the octagon, he was not performing at peak performance, and it was even more dangerous because not only was he not performing at peak performance, but he left. He left the fight with a brain hemorrhage, and he left with half of his body paralyzed. Okay, the doctors were able to stabilize him. They were able to get him back walking and talking and communicating effectively again, but they ensured him that his fight career was over. This right here will teach you. Just right there, that'll teach you. Because it's here that I have to remind you that what people say about you is not the end. What people have decided for you about your future is not the end. What people have said and what people have done to try and stop your dream from becoming a reality is not the end. So yes, you've been in a fight. Yes, you may have made some bad decisions and didn't prep properly. Yes, your life may be chaotic. Yes, you may have gotten hurt. You may have gotten damaged. You may even have half of your faculties working for you, but what other people say is not the end for you. Okay. I am amped. All right. So he trained, he rehabbed, he got back to walking normally, and he decided that he was going to go back to fighting. Okay, so he decided he's going to go back to fighting, and 30 months later, 30 months later, he found a promotion that was willing to give him a chance on a fight. Kalo, what's happening? He found someone, thank you for the roses. He found someone that was willing to give him a fight. But in the process of him training, someone wanted to cover his story. The news began to cover his story. The media began to cover his story. They began to interview him. And he went into that next show with so much hype that they had no choice but to make him the main event. And I know that I'm talking to somebody right now. You live rent free in other people's heads. You are gossiped about. You are talked about. You are the subject of rooms that you are not even in, and it's not to your benefit. There's people plotting and praying for your downfall, but the hype has made you worth seeing. The hype has drawn other people to you. The hype has drawn attention to you. The hype has stirred something up in you that says, I am going to fight today. And the hype has put you in the main event. So here we are at the fight of our lives. And it's all thanks to your haters. It's all thanks to your ops. It's all thanks to the people that doubted you. It's all thanks to the people who didn't give you a voice. It's thanks to the people who wouldn't validate you. It's thanks to the backstabbers. It's thanks to that ex that you broke up with 5 years ago and you swore that you would never trust another man. It's thanks to the abortion. It's thanks to the unplanned pregnancy. Okay, all right. Uh, the hype, Sky, what's happening? The hype put him in the main event. And not only did he show up and show out, not only did he show up and show out, but he won and he was already back in the hunt for another title. Let me speak to you frankly. Everything that you had that you thought was taken from you, everything that you had that you thought was stolen from you, everything that you had that you thought was not going to be the same. Let me explain something to you. When you decide to fight, it is muscle memory. Success becomes muscle memory. Thank you for contributing to the live goal. Success becomes muscle memory. Value becomes muscle memory. Resilience becomes muscle memory. Boundaries can become muscle memory. Momentum can become muscle memory. There's a couple points that I want to pull from this story. There's a couple points that I want to pull from this story. And during today's conversation, Sky is in the running for the drawing by dropping the phrase that pays. Let's go. The first point that I want to pull, he cut weight incorrectly. Okay, he cut it. Put this in a point. Cut weight correctly or create consequences. It's here that we have to realize there's a difference between the result of an action and consequences. Consequences usually take a negative connotation. Okay, and when I say cut weight correctly, what I'm saying is I can't allow myself to get in my feelings and push everything and everybody away. I can't. Birdie is in the drawing. Let's go. I can't cut weight incorrectly. I can't cut weight incorrectly and expect to get in and perform at peak performance. I can't cut weight and crash diet, and I can't cut weight and just not eat anything and only drink water thinking that this is something that's going to work for me. And I'm talking to somebody right now. Just because you were hurt, just because you were disappointed, just because you were frustrated does not give you the right to cut everything and everybody out of your life. You have to cut the weight correctly. We have to cut the weight in a method and in a manner that's going to allow us to perform at peak performance. Do I need to trim the fat off of my life? Yes. Do I need to set proper boundaries? Yes. Do I need to learn resilience? Yes, but that does not come at the expense of relationships. Hear me when I say this to you. The relationships that you have in your life, the relationships that you formulated, they're all to teach you a lesson. Some are a shoulder for you to cry on. Some are an ear to listen to you. Some are a tongue for wise advice. Some is a thought process. Some it's the essence. There's value in all of these relationships, but just like all of these positive things come from relationships, so does negative things. Some, Jackie, what's happening? Some teach you a way not to be. Some teach you to not be toxic. Some are sharpening the iron and putting you in the fire, so that that pressure can culminate and it takes the coal and it turns it into a diamond. Some relationships are necessary as a part of your growth. Some relationships are part of the pruning process. And when we go through life because we're hurt, we go through life because trauma has happened. When we go through life and we're not forming healthy bonds with people, it's oftentimes due to, instead of pruning, we just go take a weed whacker to the entire garden. So we have to cut the weight correctly in order to maintain peak performance. The next point, Tiffany, what's happening? The next point I want to pull out of the story. He left. He left the fight. He left that fight with a left brain hemorrhage, and half of his body was paralyzed. Put this in a point. Can't give all of you if parts of you aren't working. We can't give all of ourselves if parts of us aren't working. There was a conversation that took place yesterday in my live where we were asking, where's the boundary between heart and head? Where's the boundary in decision making between our heads and our hearts? And people came in and said, "Oh, my heart is completely turned off, and I'm all brain at this point." It's toxic. Some people came in and they said, "I have a problem setting boundaries, or I have a problem finding motivation." This is all heart. And if there's no balance in between, then parts of you are not working. And you can't give all of yourself if parts of you are closed off. You can't give all of yourself if parts of you are not being given. You can't give all of yourself. And what you're actually doing is you're robbing yourself not only of the ability for complete and utter reciprocity, you're robbing yourself of the ability for somebody to be poured into you. You are robbing yourself of experiencing, and you're robbing those that love you. Anytime, Lexi, what's happening? Anytime that you don't give 100% of yourself because parts of you are not working, you are robbing the people that you claim to love. Why? Because those people signed up for a you experience. Those people signed up because of the highs and the lows. You can't question. You can't question why people aren't around if you're doing the shoving. You can't question why people aren't around if it's you doing the withdrawing. You can't question why it's you being around when you've allowed your wounds to become weapons and now nobody can trust you to reciprocate to them. What we have here is a coping mechanism that has swung too far. What we have is a coping mechanism that has gone too far left or too far right, and now we have shut off that part of ourselves. How is it that you complain about there being pee in the dating pool? How is it that you complain about the cesspool of men and women in today's society when you're actually contributing to the toxicity? How is it that you're not giving anybody a chance, so when they take you out on that first date, they're actually down 0-1? That's not a fair fight. You're not being fair. And if you expect the rules of life to be fair, if you expect a fair shot at life, if you expect a fair opportunity, if you expect a fair chance to prove who you are in life, you have to realize that this fairness starts with you. You can't give all of yourself when parts of you are not working. The next thing that I want to pull out of this story. He treated himself, he rehabbed, and he trained for 30 months prior to him getting getting back into the cage. Put this in a point. The timetable to treat trauma is not tangible. Let me get really real quick. The point was the timetable to treat trauma is not tangible. See our sisters and brothers hurting. We don't like to see our family members hurting. We don't like to see them hurting. So we throw a quick cliche. This too shall pass. We throw a quick cliche. Focus on the positive. There's a snake in my boot. We throw a quick positive cliche. Trust the process. It's you versus you. But this is not what people want to hear. People don't need to hear this. They've heard the cliches. They've seen the memes. They've posted some of the memes. I need you to tell me how to dig myself out of this hole. If you're going to say anything to me at all, I need you to tell me that I understand. I need you to tell me that you can touch and agree. I need you to send a prayer up. I need somebody to listen. And when I say listen, I mean listen in both sense, not just hear what I'm saying, but process and understand what I'm saying. Let me explain something to you right now. If you are in a painful situation, your friends and your family, they're supposed to try and bring you out of this situation. They are. This is the goal. But I need you to have these conversations where you tell them that cliches aren't going to work. I need you to have the conversations when you tell them that it's much deeper than a TikTok video. It's much deeper than an Instagram post. It's much deeper than Derek Jackson and Trent Shelton. I need you to tell them that it's a lot deeper because it's pain that I'm dealing with. Some of us have been dealing with it for years. Some of us have been dealing with it for decades. Some of us have been dealing with it for weeks and months. So these one or two quick sentences that you're attempting to say to me to pull me out of this funk are not going to work. I need you to give me a process. I need you to sit with me and go through the process. And my timetable to heal trauma is not tangible. In other words, I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know how long I'm going to be feeling like this. I don't know when I'm going to be able to talk about this conversation or this situation and it not be painful to me. I don't understand what the timetable looks like for me to be back to the old version of me. But what I'm expecting from you is a little grace, a little empathy, a little compassion. I'm expecting you to process these things with me. The role of somebody who considers themselves family, the role of someone who considers themselves a friend, a spouse, a lover, somebody who's considerate of my mental and emotional health. Your role is to process these things with me, not to rush me back to health. Let's look at something painful. Let's look at a divorce. It's a traumatic experience, right? But the doctor doesn't interfere in the courtroom, and the lawyer doesn't try and play therapist. Their goal is to play their role to help you through the process. And what tends to happen is that in vain attempts by friends and family and loved ones, they try and get you through there. Right? So they say things that they don't actually realize is cutting you deeper. They say things like, "You're still crying about that?" They say things like, "Isn't it time to put this in the past?" They say things like, this is just a prayer. This is just a prayer away." Okay, cool. I got that, but that doesn't come without work. That doesn't come without me having to do some things. That doesn't come without me learning some skills to cope and then go back and heal. So no, don't rush my timetable, because what you're actually doing is driving a wedge further in between our friendship. What you're doing is driving a further wedge into our relationship because you're inconsiderate of how I'm feeling. Don't talk to me about expressing empathy. Don't talk to me about expressing compassion and expressing grace when you just want me to laugh without giving me tools. You just want me to smile again so we can go back to the happy hour. You just want me to smile again so that we can go back to the club. You just want me to laugh again so that you get the best version of myself and not have to earn your place in my life. That's not how it works. That's not how it's going to go down. That's not how it's supposed to work. Hear me clearly today. Don't let anybody, it does not matter the dynamic of the relationship, rush your healing. Don't let anybody tell you how long it should take to get over something. Don't allow anybody, no matter the dynamic of the relationship, to tell you where you should be in your grief process. It doesn't matter. It's me. I close out my lives by saying there's 9 billion people on the planet, right? And every one of these people are different. The perception is different. The wisdom is different. The knowledge is different. The way that I feel things is different. And as a result of that, as evidence of that, how many times have you said inside of an argument, inside of a relationship, don't treat me like don't act like I'm I have to deal with everybody on an individual basis. And this comes not just when I'm trying to prove a point, but it also comes when it's time to exercise what it's like to love this person. It also comes when it comes to looking like what it's like to be there for that person. This also comes when it comes to my packaging of how I'm presenting information or advice or encouraging words or affirmations to this person. I have to consider that this person is 1 in 9 billion and that they're rare, and that if I'm going to be there, if I'm going to exercise the things that I want to exercise in their life, that I must deal with them on an individual basis. Let me move. It took him 30. Okay. The timetable to treat trauma is not tangible. So he main evented his return show because of the media, because of the hype, because of the people talking about him. He was the main event. Because of the people gossiping about him, he became the main event. Because everybody had an opinion on what he was doing, he became the main event. It became a story. A lot of times in life, we put too much pressure on ourselves based off of judgment and the opinions of other people, when all we have to do is just exist and let our ops propel us into greatness. Oh my God. Did you hear what I just said? All you have to do is exist. All you have to do is be you. I don't have to worry about who's going to think what. I don't have to worry about who's going to say what. I don't have to worry about people's opinion or perception of me. All I have to do is show up as myself and do what it is that I know that I was called to do. This man knew that he was a fighter. He knew that fighting was in him. He was a champion at one time, so he knew that he could get there again. He didn't allow opinion. He didn't allow judgment. He didn't allow perception. He didn't allow the gossip. He didn't allow comparison or imposter syndrome to talk him out of what he knew that he was going to do. Instead, he just sat back and he went to work. Bam, 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 bam. Let me spar. Bam, 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 bam. Let me shadow box. Let me fill out this application. Let me get back to doing what it is that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm going to allow my ops. I'm going to allow your opinion. I'm going to allow your judgment. I'm going to allow your words and your actions and your deeds to deter me from the dream, to fuel me into purpose. All I have to do is be me. I feel that. All I have to do is be me. And once I show up as the best version of myself, once I show up as the best version of myself and not a second-rate version of anybody else, it's at that point that God, karma, the universe is going to start to give you things. Things are going to start falling in your lap. Opportunity is going to fall in your lap. The love that you wanted is going to fall into your lap, because I am signaling to God, karma, and the universe that I am ready, because I am operating at the best place and the best version of myself. And as a result of that, the things that I pray for, the things that I fast for, the things that I'm attempting to attract or manifest will fall at my lap, because the universe, God, karma, has no choice but to reciprocate. Let your ops do your dirty work. Okay, let me move. Let me move. A lot of us, get into situations because, or we don't get into a situation, or we don't gear ourselves up to fight because we have the bad perception of the consequences. Okay, a lot of us get into or don't take situations or opportunities because we feel like that death is the worst thing that could happen to us. Oh, this is deep. Don't miss this. Write this down. The worst possible outcome is actually failure to pursue your purpose and not perishing. The worst possible outcome is actually failing to pursue your purpose or your passion and not perishing. The worst thing that could happen to you is not dying. The worst thing that could happen to you is you actually being 75 or 80 years old and you're sitting on a rocking chair with a life full of regrets. Oh, you're attempting to tell your children and your grandchildren and maybe your great grandchildren, if you've made it to that age, about the life that you live. You're attempting to pass on lineage. You're attempting to pass on courage. You're attempting to pass on boldness, but will it be a cap? Will it be hypocritical? The worst thing that you can do for yourself is allow yourself to become of an age where you don't have the physical energy to pursue purpose and then regret doing it. Dying is easy, but living in purpose is, Living in purpose is hard. And this is where the work comes in. This is where the work comes in. This is where I have my eyes focused on the grind. I have my eyes focused to the grindstone because I'm making art. When we transition, because it's going to happen to us all, regardless of what your belief system is, this physical vessel that you're in right now is going to go. It's going to go. What's going to be told about you? Will you be remembered or will you be missed? And those of us that fight, those of us that overcome, those of us that transition ourselves, those of us that transcend all grief, transcend all beef, transcend all gossip, all rumors, and everything that has ever come. These people are missed. Why? Because they make an impact by simply being themselves. Okay, all right. It's just me. Okay, cool. It's just me. Let me explain to you the formula to becoming a main eventer. Canada's greatest export is in the building. Shauna, what's happening? Let me explain to you what made you a main eventer. Here's the formula, and this is across fight leagues. This is across fight leagues all across the world. Okay, from TTA in Brazil, all the way to the UFC, all the way to the Arab countries. Right, any fight the main to make it to the main event, to be a star. It has a common formula. I'm going to give you this formula today, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. I hope that y'all have learned by now to bring your pens and paper here, because I'm about to turn you up. I'm about to turn you up. Okay, let's go. Skill number one: they look for good microphone skills. Put this in a point. My words carry weight. Good microphone skills. Because if they put you in front of the camera and you're an embarrassment to the company, how could you ever be the face of the company? If they put you in front of a microphone and you act shy, who's going to want to see you? If they put you in front of a camera, or they're doing the post-fight interview and nobody is interested in what you want to say, who's going to listen to anything that you have to say? Therefore, you are bad for profit. So good microphone skills. My words carry weight. It says in this book right here that the power of life and death lies within the tongue. It works that way. This is not just a biblical principle. This is a universal principle. Speak negative, negative comes. Speak positive, positive comes. So how is it then that I'm still caught slipping? How is it that I'm still talking to myself in a bad way? But when you decide to fight, you have to remember what you are. You have to remember who you are. You have to put some weight into what it is that is backing you. You have to take some weight and look at your vision and look at your purpose and look at your destiny and realize that if I am not speaking things that are going to contribute to me taking steps towards purpose, that I am wrong. I have to take some weight. I have to take some accountability for not only my words, but the way that people are talking around me. I don't have time. I don't have time to converse with people who don't believe. I don't have time to converse with people that are going to diminish my dreams. I don't have time to converse with people that want to talk about what other people are doing. I don't have time to entertain and sit in conversations that are not being fruitful. I don't have time to engage in anything that is not propelling me towards purpose. Why? Because it's that serious. I have people who depend on me. I have people that are counting on whether or not I make it. I have people that count on whether or not I am being successful or being fruitful. I don't have the time. Here's a sign that you're around the wrong people. If you're ever anywhere and you hear somebody say, "Oh, I got time for it today," your immediate response should be, why? What should you be doing? What could you be doing better? My words carry weight. Because what tends to happen is we engage in conversations. Tabby, what's happening? We engage in conversations. And we find little cute phrases and we take from these conversations, what's actually happening here is an energy exchange, because we hear something cute from a toxic conversation, and we adopt that into our mindsets, we adopt that into our lexicons, we adopt that into our way of thinking, and then we start to act that way. And once we begin to act that way, it becomes a part of our character. My words carry weight. TLC is in the building. What's happening? The second thing I want to impart to you, social media, a social media viral clip can allow you to skip a lot of stuff. Now, this is not me advocating for you to try to go viral. There's a point to this, right? I'm just giving you the formula of a main eventer. They usually have a clip on social media that circulates. Put this in a point. Those that slept on me will spectate something spectacular and then begin to speculate. Oh, those that slept on me will spectate, see something spectacular, and then begin to speculate. So what happens is people will sleep on you, right? They'll start to, authentic queen, what's happening? People will sleep on you, right? And what happens is they'll watch. They won't say these things to you audibly. They won't say it to somebody that knows you. They won't say it to somebody where it's going to get back to your ear. They just throw little subtle hints and backhanded compliments and begin to sleep on the dream. And then all of a sudden when the papers come through and the LLC is official, all of a sudden when the book is out for sale, all of a sudden when the business is actually turning a profit, all of a sudden when you're doing the thing that you said that you were going to do, the thing that they slept on, they'll see something spectacular and then they'll begin to speculate on how you did it. But I just told you it's the ops. It's the ops that actually put you in a main event status. It's your opposition. It's the people who don't believe in you that actually propels you to a main event status, because now they've seen something and it's went viral. Hey, did you hear what Dewan J was doing? Listen, I don't care. I don't care what you say. I don't care about the fact that I live rent free in your head. You shouldn't care about living rent free in somebody else's head. How is it that you walk around calling yourself a believer, but you're more concerned with other people's opinions than you are the opinion of God? How is it that you call yourself a center for positivity? How is it that you call yourself good vibes only and you choose to live life this way? Yet when somebody gets negative towards you, instead of elevating the conversation and changing the atmosphere and operating out of the same grace and compassion that you say that you want, you get petty right with them. How do you expect anything spectacular to come from that? How do you expect to walk in purpose as a result of that? The truth of the matter is the reason that you were offended by what they said or did is because it struck a nerve, because it went against your spiritual beliefs. It went against your moral compass. It went against your moral code. It went against everything that you held sacred. And the truth of the matter is you're offended, but then you turn around and do to them the same thing that they did to you, but you expect somebody else to make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's crazy. Well, guys, what's happening? Um, Tiffy, I said that we the reason that people we get offended, the reason that we get offended is that when someone says or does something that goes against our spirituality, when it goes against our moral code, when it goes against our belief system and our values, we get offended and it strikes a nerve. And what should happen is that we should continue striving towards purpose. We should have a conversation about boundaries and things of that nature. But if there's no solution to that conversation, if there's no resolution to that conversation, or that person is coming in from a toxic point of view, this person is not equipped to be with you on this part of the journey, because you have somewhere to be. We're in the theme, right? We're in a theme of an MMA or a boxing event, right? All of these things are time specific. All of these things are measured, right? Hey, they'll come and tell the main eventer. They come in to tell you, hey, you're walking to the ring at 10:04, and it's because there's a price that comes with time. There's patience that come with time. They pay $554,723 per second that they're on the air. So if you're missing your wing walk at 10:03 and you do it at 10:04, you've cost the promotion money. You've demeaned the value that you added to the show. So anytime that we take time out of chasing purpose, anytime that we take time out of pursuing purpose, anytime that we take time away from doing the things that we're supposed to do to get petty with somebody else because I ain't the one to play with, dog. They have me so messed. Anytime that we take time to get petty back with that person, you are actually demeaning your value because they spectated something spectacular and now they have no choice but to speculate on how you got it done. The way that I got it done by setting hard boundaries. The way that I got it done was by being disciplined. The way that I got it done was by being resilient. The way that I got it done was by ignoring content like this. It's not about it's not about being the bigger person. It's about choosing the freeway versus the back streets. That's a bar. It's about choosing the highway versus the back streets. Because when you get petty with somebody, that's the equivalent of taking the back street because you don't know what's coming. You don't know if there's potholes in the street. You don't know if you're going to run into a flat tire. You don't know if you're going to hit a deer. The lights are out. It's not a well-lit area. The highway, you're able to travel faster because everybody's going the same speed. Everybody's going the same direction. Everybody's going into the same direction. The cars around you are literally headed the same way as you. So you're all pushing towards purpose. So instead of getting off the exit and getting petty with somebody, I'd rather push towards my destination. Okay. The next thing that puts you into the main event is your knockout power. It's your knockout power, right? Boring fighters don't make it to the main event. All right, and here's a problem that a lot of people have with church. Here's the problem that a lot of people have with organized religion. Here's the problem that a lot of people have with spirituality. Here's the problem that a lot of people have. It's because when you're talking to people, if we're going to converse with people, I can't dress it up as if I've never done anything wrong. I can't dress it up like I lived the life of Mother Teresa. I can't dress it up as if I don't have blemishes on my record. I can't dress it up as if I have a clean rap sheet, right? Something exciting has to happen because the excitement is the most powerful thing. It's the most powerful draw. A lot of people, a lot of people wonder why they continue to attract broken people. A lot of people wonder why they continue to have to fix somebody else, and then we'll do a little we'll read a few chapters out of the shadow workbook, and we'll do a little introspection, and we'll do a little journaling, and we'll come to the conclusion that I continue to attract broken people because I haven't learned a lesson. This is not always true. Oftentimes these people are drawn to you because you've been broken. These people are drawn to you because you know what it's like to overcome. And it's at that point that when we're doing our vetting process that we have to confuse, or we get confused with mate and mission. A lot of people, they end up hooking up. They end up crossing boundaries that shouldn't be crossed with people that was supposed to be a mission for them. Oh, I'm talking to somebody right now. People were supposed to be a mission for you. You were supposed to be a step. You were supposed to be an introduction to something better, a system, a thought process, a feeling, a way to cope, a way to heal. You were supposed to be an introduction to something better, but instead you fell in love. Oh, I know y'all not gonna talk to me right now. But what has to happen is that we have to do a better job of vetting. And and what tends to happen is that we continue to attract these people because actually my purpose is being a mom. Actually, my purpose is being a healer. Actually, my purpose is being a phenomenal nurturer. My purpose is a teacher. My purpose is someone to teach toughness. But when I fall in love and make my mission my mate, it creates a mismatch. Put that in a point. That's good. Okay. You're also in there because of your knockout power. Okay. Put this in a point. I fight with the intention to make my problems feel and fall to my power. I fight with the intention to make my problems feel and fall to my power. BM is in the building. What's happening? What this means simply is that you are far more powerful than you have ever given yourself credit for. Right? I quote this often. Everything that has ever come to destroy you, you have defeated to this point in your life. Every single thing that has stood in your path, you have defeated up until this point. And what this means for you is that you may be tired of fighting, but you trained for this. You may be fatigued, but you're ready for this. You may be feeling and regretting, but the truth of the matter is you're already hurting. So there's no giving up. We're going to finish the fight. I've already been punched. I've already been attempted to being submitted. I'm already sweaty. I'm already inconvenient. I'm already in an uncomfortable place. So why would I come this far to just come this far? Why would I go through the training camp, pay the money, get the fighter's identification card, get into the main event spotlight, and when the lights are the brightest, when it's time for me to show off my lessons, when it's time for me to show off the muscles that I've gained of resilience, the muscles that I've gained of discipline, the muscles that I've gained of compassion, empathy, and love, why would I come this far to only get this far? I fight my problems. I go out to confront my problems with the intention of making everything that comes against me feel and fall to my power. I say this as a joke, but nothing is more appropriate right here. Anything and anybody that comes up against me better be ready to box with God because I'm coming. Yeah, I had 5 failed relationships in a row, but I'm coming. Yeah, I had an abortion, but I'm coming. Yeah, this pregnancy was unplanned, but I'm coming. Yeah, nobody that I've encountered this point in my life but ever believed in me, but I'm coming. Nobody in my life this far believed that I was going to take this business to the next level, but I'm coming. Nobody believed that I was going to complete the book, but I'm coming. Nobody believed that I was going to start the podcast, but I'm coming. Nobody believed that I was going to be able to turn my life around and walk in the purpose that I'm supposed to, but I'm coming. Nobody believed that I was going to ever achieve a peaceful, loving, happy relationship in my life, but I am coming. Everything that has ever come up against me needs to know they're going to feel all 265 pounds of power. The only thing, the only thing that anybody can ever ask of you and expect of you is that you wake up every day, that you're mindful and on purpose, and that you give 100% of yourself. Sometimes you don't feel as though you're winning. But if you've accomplished things that day towards your purpose, you are winning. If you've stolen back an hour or two from your job, you are winning. If your kid learned a valuable lesson today, you are winning. If your kid went to bed with a full stomach, you are winning. And what happens is that because we compare and because we don't use ops as fuel, because we allow judgment to determine where we are on the scoreboard, we don't think that we're winning. But I need you today to decide in your mind that you're going to look at your problem in the eyes. You're going to look at it square in the eyes. You're going to stand nose to nose. You're going to stand face to face, and you're going to tell that problem, I am coming. And if you're going to be here when I get back, you be prepared to feel all of me. Okay. Listen, I told y'all I was amped today. The next thing, the next reason why you're in a main event status is your ability to finish on the ground. Put this in a point. Put this in a point. When I fall, because it's going to happen. You're going to fall. You're going to fall short. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have lapses in judgment. You're going to have lapses in which you want to go back to the old pattern. Let me tell you something. This is okay. Now, hold yourself accountable. Okay. Make the necessary adjustments and then move on. When I fall, put this in a point, Claudia. When I fall, I find a way to finish. I need y'all to feel that. It's okay. It's okay that I spoke out of turn. It's okay that I jumped out of character. It's okay. Now, don't get me twisted. This is not a license to go act the way that you want to act, right? But what I am saying to you is that when I fall, because it's going to happen, I'm going to commit to finding a way to finish. Just because I'm known for my knockout power doesn't mean that I don't know these submissions. Just because it feels as if life has got me in a rear naked choke, or it's trying to choke me out, or it's trying to take a limb from me, it doesn't mean that I don't know how to finish. I have trained for this. I am conditioned for this. And as a result of this, you're literally going to have to take me off the planet to stop me from fighting. So when I fall, I will find a way to finish. Okay. And the next thing, and the final step in the formula to making you a main eventer, here's why you're here, right? The final step is you have legit accolades, right? You don't just get into mixed martial arts without a primary discipline. Okay, most of these people are black belts in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Judo. So there was a primary discipline that fed the discipline that they're in now, right? So put this down on a point. My accomplishments have opened the doors of acceleration. My accomplishments have opened the doors of acceleration. Those of y'all that have been rocking with me for a little bit know that I talk about the gratitude journal. You know that I talk about keeping track of your wins, big or small. It does not matter if your wins are huge, like getting a promotion. You don't. It doesn't matter if we're buying a new house or a new car. Finding Mr. or Mrs. Right. It does not matter. Sometimes the accomplishment is just getting out of bed. Sometimes the accomplishment is making it from upstairs to downstairs and making sure that there's food in my refrigerator. Sometimes the accomplishment is just one smile. It doesn't matter how big or small the accomplishment is. It's important that we keep track of this because when I'm in the main event fight, right, I made it here because of my accolades. My accolades are the wins that I have collected, right? And these things should fuel my self-esteem, fuel my confidence, fuel my advocacy, fuel my productivity. And it's here that I can look at the critic. I can look myself in the eye. I can look the doubter in the eye and say, shut up, I'm a winner. It's here that I can look at my imposter syndrome and say, shut up, I am qualified to be here. It's here that I can look at the situation ahead. I can look at it in the eye and say, I fought bigger things than you. You can look at how you don't not knowing if you're going to buy Christmas presents or pay the light bill. It's here that you can look and say, I've been in situations that are worse than this before. I have to keep track of my wins because my accolades propelled me to this main event status. And here, when the lights are brightest, when my name is on the marquee, when I'm on the tongue of everybody, ops and appreciators, when I am being looked at by the world to see what it is that I'm going to do, I will not fail in this moment. And as a result of that, as a result of me keeping track of my wins, as a result of me being able to become my own hero, as a result of me tying on my own cape and stopping the downward spiral of depression, my accomplishments will open the door for acceleration. Hey, look at you go. How did you get here? How did you get here? I'm about to expose some things to you, about you, for you. Okay. I'm about to expose some things to you, about you, for you. Here's how you know that you're qualified to be here in the main event, in the limelight, the source of envy, the black sheep, the generational curse breaker. I feel that. Here's what qualifies you to be the first person in your family to go to college. Here's what qualifies you to be the first male in your family to not go to prison. Here's what qualifies you to be a single parent and everybody watching how you got it done. Here's what qualifies you to be an inspiration to other people. Okay. There's 9 things. There's nine things. Okay. The first step is your courage. The first step is your courage. The first thing that you need to know about yourself is that you are courageous. Let me prove it. Uh, Put this in a point. Courage is not the absence of fear, but action in spite of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, but action in spite of fear. This is how you know that you're courageous. Because yesterday you were you had to go get some Visine because your eyes were red from crying because you didn't know how to push past pain. Yesterday you were trying to figure out your debt situation. Mm. Yesterday you looked in the mirror and didn't like what you saw, but today you decided to make a change. Yesterday you didn't feel worthy of love. Yesterday you were heartbroken from the disappointment that you. Yesterday you didn't want to have a conversation about your boundaries because you wanted to avoid confrontation. Yesterday you didn't want to confront that person that abused you mentally, that person who touched you inappropriately, the person that makes inappropriate jokes. Yesterday, you didn't have the courage to walk away from a complete group of people because they meant you no good. But you woke up today. You woke up today and you're inspired. You woke up today granting mercy and grace, saying that it was a new day. You woke up willing to try again. And even though you don't know how you're going to get it done, even though you don't have the tools or the knowledge to get these things done, you believe in yourself that you're going to get this done. And that takes courage. How courageous do you feel today? Courage doesn't feel like courage. Uh, the first airplane flight ever, I'm pretty sure that the Wright brothers were afraid because what happens if it doesn't? But what happens if it does work? You revolutionized the world, and I feel somebody saying, "I'm not a world changer," but you are. You are. Let me prove it. When you smile, when you say hi, when you hold the door, when you help someone cross the street, when you listen attentively and offer sound advice, you change the world for somebody. And that takes courage. You didn't have to think about if you were saying the right thing. You didn't have to think about stuff that was already built in you. You didn't have to think about any of these things. And the fact that you've been broken, the fact that you've been damaged, the fact that you've been heartbroken, the fact that you've had to overcome so much in your life and you're still willing to inspire, you're still willing to advise, you're still willing to impart and pour into other people takes courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's action in spite of fear. The second reason you're qualified to be here is your skills. You got skills. You got skills. There was all right, listen, I gotta talk about my grandma again, okay? Talk I gotta talk about my grandma again. Um for those of y'all that were there like a couple days ago, right? I told a funny story about her sitting in church. Um my grandma had skills, y'all. And my grandma had the skill of creative financing. Okay. Now, growing up, we weren't like a well off family, right? Um, especially like on my mom's side, right? My biological mom's side, right? So, but my grandma, she knew the game. She knew the game and she knew how to play the system. So my grandma would get a final notice for like a light bill, right? She would get like a final notice for the light bill, and they said, "Hey, if you don't pay by tomorrow at 3 o'clock." Oh, wait. Let me pause right here and tell you. Listen, I do not advise. I do not advise what I'm about to tell you. I do not advise what I'm about to tell you. She did. Okay. So she say, hey, the notice will say, hey, tomorrow by noon, if you don't pay, we're going to shut off your lights. So my grandma would then write a check to the power company, put it in an envelope to the gas company, and send it to the water company. So so what happened is she'd have it, she'd have the carbon copy of the check, right, that she could take down there and say, hey, I put this in the post office yesterday. Like, did you not did you not get it? Right, here's the copy, right? Because I know I'm dating myself right now, and those of y'all that were born past like 1993 doesn't even know what a checkbook is. But that's what she would do, right? So back in the day, in addition to that little sheet that was in the back, right, there would be there would be there would be the check, and then it'd be like a yellow copy, like right underneath the check. So she would write the check to the power company, right, saying that she paid them, right, and then she would say, "Well, this took my money. I don't really like have it to give." And then by the time they figured it all out, she would go down there and apologize, but then she'd have the money to make the payment in the first place, right? Now, it's funny. It was creative, but it took skill, right? And you're qualified to be here because you've seen heartbreak before. You've seen depression before. You've seen anxiety before. You've seen fear before. You've seen obstacles being against you before. And the fact that you made it has developed you some skills. It's allowed you to set some boundaries. It's allowed you to be able to move and maneuver situations around you that work out to your benefit. This is what qualifies you to be here. Let me move, man. God rest my grandma's soul, man. The third thing, that qualifies you to be here is your discipline. Is your discipline. Um, Usually, what happens is your belief system plays a part into your discipline. Because what tends to happen is that the more that we're walking towards purpose, the more that we're walking towards our dreams, right, the more that we allow that thing to consume us and not other substances. For example, uh, the more that you're walking towards being the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, right, the less you feel like hanging out and partying at happy hour. The more that you're walking towards writing the book, the less you feel like smoking. The more that you're leaning towards starting the podcast or aiming towards that promotion, the less that you feel like doing toxic things. And this looks like to you, you catching yourself. You're like, da 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 da, and saying all these inflammatory words, and all of a sudden it'll hit you. You know what? I really need to work on my language. Hey man, you want to hit the club, man? Hey man, the 304s is in here. Yeah, man, let me get. You know what? Actually, I really got to get this grant done. Let me start. It happens automatically. It happens automatically. And what tends to happen to us is that as we begin to take a step towards our dream, as we begin to take a step towards destiny, discipline comes. Put that at a point. Discipline arrives when we decide to go. Discipline arrives when we decide to go. There's a meeting that has to take place. It's not something that you're supposed to be able to do by yourself. Right? If you can accomplish your dream by yourself, then it's not really a dream, it's just something for you to get to the next level. It's a stepping stone. Okay. The next thing that qualifies you to be here is overcoming major and minor injuries. Overcoming major and minor injuries. During the fight process, we're going to take black eyes. We're going to take bloody noses. We're going to have our lips busted. We're going to get cut open in the head. We're going to have sprains and breaks and hyperextensions and all of these things, right? And we put these things in here. But our ability to overcome sparks your imagination. Put that in a point. Overcoming injuries sparks the imagination. Why? Because I can't always pre-plan my fights. I don't know how the battle is going to go. I can promise to be limber. I can promise to be in peak condition. I can promise to be in full fighting form. But the fact that this hurt me last time, it's going to spark my imagination to create a solution so it doesn't hurt me again. You might have armbarred me this time, but now I know that anytime my arm goes this way to roll with it so I can grab it. And now I'm fighting with more momentum. If I was knocked out by a right cross last time, I need to learn every aspect of that right cross. I need to know what the setup is. I need to know what the stance that's going to be taken prior to that person throwing that punch towards me, towards before life throws that punch towards me. Before I need to understand how to control my anxiety. I need to understand how to control my depression. I need to understand when anger is rising up in me, and that way I go to my coping place. I go to the place where I can not act out of character, where it does damage to the situation, where it does damage to my character, where it does damage to my reputation. I need to go to a place that's going to allow me to calm down so that I can't walk around with a cross on my neck yet I curse you out. I can't go to the job and be insubordinate and then ask for a promotion. I won't look at my group of friends and call them all haters when they're telling me things for my best advice. I need to be able to take myself to a place because my imagination has been sparked to navigate these situations because of the minor and major injuries that I've had to overcome. The next thing that qualifies you to be here is self-reflection and honesty. Self-reflection and honesty. And what this self-reflection and honesty does, it tells you how much of your heart is actually involved in the process. Uh, there's been several instances in which people have started businesses, right? People have LLCs under their names right now that they've given up on. People have bought project cars that are sitting in the garage and they're just collecting dust. People have bought all the necessary reading requirements to get certified in something and decided that it wasn't for them. But if I look internally, I can see how much of my heart is actually involved. And if you are anything less than 100% invested, don't even do it. Why? Because you're opening the door for your own disappointment. You're opening the door for your own frustration. You're opening the door for another failed project. You're opening the door for life, the devil, to put more on you that you have to overcome. You're putting more on your self-esteem and your confidence to have to overcome. So if you're looking at the situations and the things that you're pursuing in life, if you're not in it 100%, after you self-reflect, you're going to have to let that thing go from this day forward. Why? Because if I'm half-hearted, then I'm only half healed. If I'm only half healed, I can only expect half the return on the investment, and I have nobody to blame but myself. How much of your heart is involved? Okay. The next thing that qualifies you to be here is the right team. Those of y'all that know me, y'all know I preach about the starting five. I teach about the starting five, right? Everybody needs five people in their life that they can count on, right? And I'm not recommending this, but it works for me, right? I set my intimacy levels up like King Solomon's temple, right? You have the outer court, people that I'm cool with. Hey, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. There's no friction. There's no static. There's no real interaction, right? Everything's surface level. I have the inner court. These are people who've made it past the initial barriers, and they're sitting in the inner court. You're not quite qualified to come into the temple. You haven't shown me enough to come into the temple, but you're in the inner court. And if I see you, like, hey, what's up, man? And I'll spend some time and I'll talk and I'll help where I can, as long as it's not an inconvenience to me. And then you have where I have the holiest of holies. These are the five. It's probably like seven now. Uh, these are the seven people who hey man, what do you think about this? And I'm asking for genuine input because these people have the ability to impact my decision making. What I'm doing, what moves am I making for the business? How would this look here? How does this look over here? How does this look over here? Right, getting on the right team is crucial. Just like our fighter earlier in the story, right, when he decided he was going to make a comeback, it was several teams that told him no, and it wasn't for his protection; it was out of their fear. A lot of the times when, yeah, I'm getting ready to talk to somebody right now. A lot of the times when your friends are telling you no, or not to do something, or to not risk something, it's because they've adopted a poverty mindset and they're more fearful than you are in the situation, and they're projecting their fear onto you. This is dangerous. And these people aren't to be condemned, right? These are not people that you can that you should just get rid of because of they're fearful. It's coming from a place of love. It's coming from what they feel is the best thing to do in that moment. But I need you to, when you're taking advice from these people, to recognize where the advice is coming from. I can't deal with advice that is born out of fear. I can't deal with advice that's coming from a poverty mindset. I can't deal with advice that's coming from over caution or overthinking. I need somebody solid. I need you to be sure of what you're saying to me and why you're saying it to me. And so, as a result to that, when I push back, you can defend your position. And oftentimes, we come to like what the best decision is. But this takes me being on the right team for this to happen. This takes me building the right team around me for this to happen. This takes me trusting absolutely the people around me to have an impact on my decision making. My head, my heart, my body is not to be given to anybody. You have to earn this. Where is it? Where is it that our mental health has lost its value? Where is it that our hearts have lost its value? Why is it that we're giving away something that's considered sacred? Why is this we're giving away pieces of the temple? Why is this that we're giving away something that we regard and we flaunt and we show off and we try and thirst trap other people? Why is it that we're giving away our body so freely? If everybody has a key to your front door, what's the purpose of having locks? Uh oh. Uh oh. If everybody can come through the gate and my guard dog is friendly to everybody, what's how effective is he at his job? If I'm just going to give away something, then it makes it almost impossible to set boundaries. It makes it almost impossible to set barriers. It makes it almost impossible to have conversations where we're going to discuss morals because at this point I've given away the value, so now I have a price. We got to be talking for 90 days. Yeah, I see you. We got to go out on at least 5 dates. Yeah, I see you. But what you're doing is you're giving yourself a price. Oh, y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. I'll talk about that Monday. I'll talk about that Monday. Y'all ain't ready for that conversation. You put a number on yourself. And then you wonder why so many people gives the appearance of being Mr. Right or being Mrs. Right or being perfect for you in that situation in the very beginning is because you put a price tag on yourself and that person is it has more than enough time. That person has more than enough time to pay that price, more than enough resources to pay the price tag that you put on yourself. I need you to look at yourself like you're invaluable. I need you to take a look at yourself and realize that you were fearfully and wonderfully created. I need you to take a look at yourself and be like, there's no price on me. I have to choose to give this away. But if I put the price tag on myself and I advertise what the price tag actually is, there's no wonder people with the resources, people that come in and love bomb, people that come in looking for the very thing that you told them, right? How is it that you wonder how somebody had the ability to play with your heart when you gave them the roadmap to it? So if you're going to put this price on yourself, at least take yourself off the discount rack. Oh my God. Yeah, y'all ain't ready for this conversation. Come Monday, be ready. We, I don't even, okay. What happens is, and some of y'all have heard me use this metaphor before. Here's what happens, right? The most precious gem on the planet is actually not a diamond. The most precious gem on the planet is actually a ruby. Okay. And rubies are so precious and they're so valuable because rubies are what's called asurfaceable, meaning that in order for a ruby to actually be damaged, it has to encounter something of equal or greater value. Oh, okay. What tends to happen is we put this price tag on ourselves because oftentimes we don't recognize what our own value is. We don't recognize that we're walking around as rubies, something to be lauded, something to be praised, something to be valued, something to be earned, right? A lot of people don't buy rubies because they don't shine as brilliantly as diamonds, but this is all cap. Diamonds are more popular because they shine brighter, but this is only for people that got to show off. Y'all, okay. So in a ruby, what happens, we allow a lot of gems that are lesser than to scratch the surface. We allow hands that aren't qualified to hold us to drain the shimmer out of the ruby. We allow people with no regard to just toss and throw the ruby. We allow rhinestones to come around and make the ruby appear to be fake. But when is it that you're going to recognize how valuable you are? When is it that you're going to sit with yourself, write out your thoughts, write out your frustrations, and realize that these people didn't even put a scuff on me? And all I have to do is pick myself back up and wipe myself back off, and I'm back to the brilliance that was there. Okay, take yourself off the discount rack. Okay. The next thing that qualifies you there to be here is intelligence. Intelligence. Now, I'm not just talking about book intelligence. I'm not just talking about street intelligence. What I'm talking about is your intelligence brings about a wisdom, right? And because knowing the information and knowing what to do with the information are two completely different things. And intelligence marries those both under the covenant of wisdom. Okay. Wisdom is knowing what to do with knowledge. I can read this book all day long, but if I can't apply it, is there any honor there? I can come to these types of lives all day long, but if I'm not taking any information and applying it to my life, then I'm only getting a bunch of information and I don't have any wisdom. My wisdom hasn't grown because I'm not applying it. Wisdom is applied knowledge, and intelligence is what marries knowledge and wisdom together. Your intelligence qualifies you to be here. The next thing, uh, clout, clout, clout puts you in the main event. Here's a warning. Here's the warning about clout. Okay, clout is short lived. Okay. No matter what happens, no matter what happens in life, no matter how many videos you have going viral, clout is short-lived because eventually there's going to be somebody coming along with a better message. There's going to be somebody coming along with a better product. There's going to be someone coming along with stronger love or that looks better, or unless unless you recognize that clout is short lived. And while you have this level of success, while you have this willingness and this energy to fight, this willingness and this energy to come through and live life the way that it's meant to be lived. If because I have the ability to evolve and continue to grow because I've become a forever student, then my clout then turns to legendary status, and then it reciprocates because I have clout all over again. I'm reminded of Michael Jordan, right? And Jordan is a billionaire, certified. The ironic thing about Michael Jordan is that Michael Jordan made all of his money not from playing basketball, but from his sneakers while he played basketball. Now, I'm not denying the skill level that Jordan had. I'm not denying the six championships. I'm not denying the Hall of Fame career. I'm not denying anything. But Jordan recognized that his window for playing was short in the grand scheme of eternity. So now what happens is that twice a month or once a month, Jordan will release the same sneaker that he released while he was playing in a different color, package it differently by the color. And instead of the $85 that we paid for it back then, now we are willing to pay 260, 300, 400. Don't even get me on the resale sites. It's because Jordan recognized that his clout, his ability to play the game was going to be short. So he had to start operating with some vision. I need to start coming up with creative colors. I need to start. And God said, nah, I don't wear his product. Facts. But Jordan started to recognize that if I put some different colors on this, but I can sell the same shoe. I can call these something different and still put the same shoe out. I can market this to the right people, and all of a sudden it becomes valuable again. How many times have you retro ones, flu games, retro 11s. The coldest was the black on black with the red bottom. Yo, come on, Jordan people. Those were the coldest shoes ever. But then he did the same thing like 10 years later, but he put the Tar Heel blue on the bottom, and then he drew on his past experience. Hey, I went to North Carolina. North Carolina blue. Let's put this on the bottom of the sneaker, and I'm gonna call these retro because these were my point in saying all of this is that your rise to success and your sustainment and your sustainment of success are two completely different elements. And as you're climbing up the hill, as you're climbing to the pinnacle, as you're climbing to the level of success, it's important that you maintain vision for the future because clout is short-lived, but legendary status is forever. And here we are at the main event. I just proved to you how you were qualified to be here, why you were qualified to be here. I proved to you about the victories that you've overcome. And now it's not here that we rest on our laurels. It's not here that we begin to say, hey, I'm a champion. Because everybody now has their eye on you. Everybody now is targeting. Everybody else is coming for you. And those same people, watch this. Watch this. The same people that slept on you, you're now inspiring. Those same people who doubted your dream, you're now drawing. Those same people who said that you'd never make it are now looking to you for inspiration. Those same people that were looking at you as a rival once now look to you as a role model. And I need you to take courage from that. I need you to take some inspiration from that. I need you to hug yourself because of that. Just because of you being you fighting the fights that you fought, you being sustained, you keeping it 100 with yourself, you not capping on social media, you changing the atmospheres that you come in, you have created an environment in which people are looking to you. The same way that you used to look up to Beyonce, the same way that you used to look up to Jennifer Hudson, the same way that you looked up to Selena, anything for Selena's, right? The same way that you looked up to these people, the same way that you looked up to Jordan and Kobe, the same way that you looked up to Barack Obama, the same way that you looked at whatever, right? You have that same power in you. It's just all about you deciding to fight. And that's it. That is it. That is the long and the short of all of this, right? I probably could have given you this in the very beginning and not take 4 weeks to drag it out. What the fuck? Let's go. Where's the battle cap? I gotta. Here we go. Woo. Oh, and Anna's in the gift gallery. Shout out. For those of y'all who do not know, I am a very, very proud Volta. Ezra with the motorcycle in the building. Let's go. Boom. Volta is in there yet again. Oh, nothing but love. Nothing but love. I appreciate you, sir. Um, yeah, that is that is it. That is it. I think we got something to do right now. Oh, let's go with the enchanted. Boom. Let's go with the enchanted guitar. Whoa. Let's let's go with the Jets in the chat. Oh my goodness, that is wow. Uh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's yeah, yeah. I appreciate you. It's always it's always it's always humbling when people come in and they do uh, things like that because I come here, I set the live goal up there, but you very actually I actually never mention the fact that it's there. I try and like correspond them with the themes of what we're talking about and things like that. And for somebody to take Thank you. Yeah, I will. I will put them in a poem. Dream Libra said, "How are you feeling?" We forgot to check. People wanted to ask. Yo, I appreciate you. I am well, man. I'm feeling extremely grateful, like right here in this moment, and humbled, man. It's always a humbling experience when people come in and they do stuff like that because money is like hard earned, and I don't do this for that, right? It's kind of like I just want to see everybody win, and so yeah, it's appreciate you, man. Thank you. Okay, so we got something to do. Okay, we have a swag pack to give away. We have a swag pack to give away, and for those of y'all that are in here, what we said was that this was the final. Let's go with the private jet, baby. I appreciate. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. Dream. That's kind of where I'm at. It's not my information, man. It's literally, man, for the betterment of God's people, man. I put it out there. Um, yeah, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, we got. Let's give away this swag pack.